right, guys? You ready for me to hurt your feelings? Because I think we're all a little delulu about how many series we're in the middle of. I know I am. I'm assuming you probably are too. Count right now how many series slash interconnected standalone bullshits you're in the middle of. I'll wait, because I've lost count of mine. I couldn't even begin to tell you. And when I had my husband help me pick my most recent TBR, he happened to pick a lot of continuations of series I'm personally in the middle of. And I thought, what better way to get through this TBR than to film a fun little video with you guys of me reading books and continuing books in a series. So we have 3 books to read for today's video, and what they're going to be, what series they're going to be from, we're going to go into it. Please watch with caution. I don't want to spoil anything from the first books. I don't think I really will, but just so you know, if you have not read these series. The first book we're going to be reading is Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. This is book 2 in the Knock 'em Out series. My reasonings for the fact that I have not read this yet. First off, these books are bricks. They are huge, big, fat, long, chunky romances, and I know everybody hates this book. Everybody likes the blue one and the purple one and hates the pink one. So I don't have high hopes, but I also have learned this year that I tend to really disagree with the masses on a lot of things. So maybe that means I'll love it. I gave the blue one, I just redid my shelves and I don't know where anything is. Things We Never Got Over, I gave 4 stars, and then the purple one is Things We Left Behind. So I can never remember the names of them. So we have got this book. We have that one I know I'm reading first. These other 2, it'll be based on vibes, and they're both YA, so they should both be really easy reads. The next is Killer Instinct, which is book 2 in the Naturals. I have no reason for not reading it yet. I just haven't gotten to it, and I am very excited. I was able to read the first book in the Natural series so quick. I read it in one sitting in like 2.5 hours. It was shorter than this one, I believe. The last one's pretty long, the Bad Blood, but this is book 2 of the Naturals. And then we have Nothing Like the Movies by Lynn Painter. I do have the Barnes & Noble cover. That's why it is orange. And I think the other one is like purple and yellow. I didn't like the buttery. I wish it was more like a highlighter yellow spine, but it was more like a butter yellow. So I went with this beautiful like sunset looking combo here. And this is book 2 from, the first one was better than the movies. This one's Nothing Like the Movies. This is quite long, honestly. Almost 400 pages, but it's YA, so it should be really easy. At least that's what I'm hoping for, and I'm excited to jump in to all 3 of these. Let's go. Okay, guys, I have read approximately 1 chapter of this. I'm going to be honest, I'm feeling a little slumpy from the last book that I just read, but I've read approximately this much of this book, and this book is so long. But I really want to get through it. My issue is, and this is shame on me, I read Things We Never Got Over maybe in like June, like definitely at least 6 months ago. I thought that these were interconnected standalones. Turns out they're just interconnected and they do not stand alone. And the story is rolling over and I don't remember the story. I didn't remember that the main character of this was the brother of the other guy. So it's going bad so far. Not that like it is bad. I also love that the chapters have titles. I feel like it's such like a rare thing in books that I read, and I do think that is super fun. But I might have to like look up like a TLDR on Things We Never Got Over. It's like coming back in bits and pieces, but I'm just a little bit confused. And it is slightly stressing me out, but it's all good. It's all fine. Live, laugh, love. All right, guys, we're about 60 or so % through this chunky bad boy. What's really wild is outside of this video, I also have another like 600-page romance to read this week, so that's awkward, but alas. I am quite liking this. I don't understand why. I mean, this has like the worst review of the 3 books, but it still has a 4 on Goodreads, so maybe I was under the impression that people disliked it more than they do. Maybe people just were disappointed because they expected it to be a 5 and it was just a 4. I gave the first one a 4. I'm thinking at 60% that this one will be a 4. Basically, I don't want to say too much about this book because it will spoil some stuff from the first book, but essentially we have Nash. He is a cop and he's trying to figure some stuff out. It's like a mystery. It has like a detective mystery type undertone to the book. We're seeing our characters from the first book. We're continuing these characters. Fast forward to here if you don't want. If you haven't read the first book, fast forward to whatever this says here. But basically, Nash still doesn't remember much from the night he was shot, and the female love interest has like a hidden agenda as to why she's in town. And where I am now, she finally told him why, and he like has taken offense to it. He's becoming very like possessive and bossy, which I don't super love. But so far, it's pretty good. It's very entertaining, and I think that the mystery aspect of the book is helping push the story forward because it is so long. Like, if there wasn't more going on, then I would be kind of annoyed. And if you are new to my channel, I am not a spicy gal. I do not like a spice. Once in a great while, I will read a smutty book to have an opinion. Like, I kind of want to read that Pocky book because everybody talks about it and I just want an opinion. But for the most part, I don't love spice. And the fact that 20% into this book we were already talking about boners and masturbation wasn't really my cup of tea, but if that's your cup of tea, this does have a decent amount of spice in it thus far. However, though we got spice pretty early, and we've had multiple references to it, and I'm sure in this last 40% we're gonna have a bunch more spicy scenes. I think because it is so long and mixed with so many other story points that it doesn't read as just pure filth. So there's that. I'm gonna go cuddle up and finish this book. Alright guys, we have finished. I finished this a couple of days ago, and I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember if I filmed a clip about it or not because my brain is mashed potatoes. But we finished Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score, and I really liked it. I ended up giving the book 4 stars. I don't get why this one is hated on. I didn't like it any better or worse than the blue book, Things We Never Got Over. I didn't think it was any better or worse. I thought it was equal. I thought they were like the same caliber. So I don't know, like, if you've read the series, what about this one did you hate? I don't get it. I liked the dog. The dog was fun. And I don't want to say too much because so much of the plot of this book is the ending of the other book. So I'm not going to say too much, but I did really, really enjoy this book. 4 stars. Off to a good start. And that means we're almost done with that series because there's only one more book. Okay guys, we are going to be jumping in to Killer Instinct, which is book 2 in the Natural series. I'm honestly going to be starting this in the morning, but I wanted to film this clip while it's on top of the dome because I have a mashed potato brain, as we have discussed. But this is book 2 in the Naturals. I read the first book in one sitting in like literally 2.5 hours. This one I think is slightly longer, so maybe it'll take me like 3.5 hours, but in this book, we're going to be visiting our same cast of characters, and we have Cassie, and she is a profiler, as we learned in book 1, and she's now working for the FBI's program, blah, blah, blah. She's hoping that they can work on solving cases without being on the front line because of what happened in the previous book. However, there's a copycat killer on the loose, and they are going to be trying to outsmart him. So, we will give her a go. I'm sure it'll be great. It'll probably be 4 stars. And yeah, there we go. Okay friends, we are about to actually start Killer Instinct. I feel like I said I was going to start it days ago, and now it is Sunday. We're going to get into it. I'm going to read it on my Kindle because these books are all available on Kindle Unlimited. So let's get to it. Okay guys, I'm about 1/4 of the way through Miss Killer Instinct. I'm about to start chapter 13. Here we are, about that far into the book, and I'm really liking it so far. It's been months since I read the first book, and I think that is hindering me slightly because they keep referring to each other by their last names. I don't remember their last names. They've done a good job of like recounting what each person, because basically it's like a group of kids, high schoolers, and they're working on this in this program for the FBI in Quantico called The Naturals, where there's like, some people are profilers, somebody's really good at detecting lies, we have somebody that can read emotions, so on and so forth. And they're doing a good job of reminding us of like who has like which talent. But so far there's a new agent on the scene, and she's kind of a bitch, and basically the Naturals are only allowed to work on cold cases, not active cases, because they don't want to put the kids in danger on an active case. So this active case comes about, and one of the guys in the program, his dad was a killer. You learn this pretty early in the other book. And this person's now a copycat killer of his dad, and it's causing some distress. But because of that, like, the team's having a hard time not getting involved. So there's that. I'm gonna go, like I said, take a little breaky poo to make food because I'm starving all of a sudden. Like 3 hours and about 4 hours left in the book, which isn't too shabby, but it's taking me a bit longer to read because I am buddy reading it with my friend. So I've been like updating in Fable because that's where we do our buddy reads. So whenever I buddy read, things tend to take a little bit longer, but I'm really enjoying it so far. This series is very hyped up, and in my opinion, for a good reason. It's just making me desperately want to watch Criminal Minds, and I don't have a show that I'm watching right now, so we may be taking it to the top and starting season 1 episode 1 of Criminal Minds tonight. I don't really like watching Criminal Minds before bed though, because it does give me nightmares because I'm a baby. Y'all, I'm almost 50% through this book, and it's really getting me. I'm loving it. I'm liking it even more than the first one. I swear, the last book, I read 2 books not for this video, and both of them were 5 stars. And if I could have 3 5 stars starting the year would be crazy. But in this book we are getting, I feel like in the first book we had to develop like who each character was. So in this one we're getting like deeper into the characters, and I'm loving Leah, I'm loving Dean, I love everybody. They're all so good, and just everything that's happening, I'm like, whoa, love it. For the series video, okay guys, so let me go grab the next book. We have finished Killer Instinct. I am so excited about this book. So, in this book, we're following the same cast of characters that was in the first book. We've got Cassie, Dean, Leah, and Michael. They are like the main characters. And Sloane. Cassie and Dean are both profilers. Sloane is like the Spencer Reed. She knows like every statistic ever. We've got Leah, she's like a human lie detector test. And we've got Michael, and he can read emotions. And in this, we're following basically it's like you're reading an episode of Criminal Minds, and there's like a copycat killer on the loose, and you're trying to discover it. I gave the first book, The Naturals, a 4, and I also gave this a 4. It's probably more like a 4.25 if I'm being honest, because I liked this one better than the first one. I think in the first book you spent a lot of time learning who was who, what their abilities were, what the like full scope of their abilities was, like how much they were capable of doing, how serious the FBI was taking this group, yada yada. And in this book, all of that is already developed, so we got to spend so much more time with our characters, so much more time learning about them, getting inside their heads. And my favorite character is Leah. I think I like Leah and Dean the best. The thing is, this is falling into the camp, kind of like the show. Like, I tried reading the book The Handmaid's Tale and I didn't like it, but the show The Handmaid's Tale, like June, the main character, is my least favorite. And I do think that Cassie, out of all the Naturals, is my least favorite. So I do wish that we got like multiple points of view in this, but we continued in this book with these like little blurbs in between chapters that are just titled You, and it's the unsub talking. And so yeah, it was really good. I loved it, gave it 4 stars. With like series, I tend to not read the synopsis of the next book until I finish the one I'm on. So like the next book is all in, and prior to reading this I had not read the synopsis because you just never know. Also, if you guys can hear water dripping, I'm so sorry. I live in Texas, and we were supposed to get snow this week, and it's been in the 30s for the last 2 days, and Texas is not built for the cold. I do have the bathroom door closed in hopes that you guys can't hear it, but basically the pipes here are not insulated, so if it gets below freezing, you have to just have your water running so your pipes don't freeze. It's a whole thing, but loved this. And now I have about an hour until I need to leave. I'm going to go hang out with one of my bestie pals today, and I'm very excited about it. But we are going to get started on Nothing Like the Movies. I'm sorry, but the Barnes & Noble cover is so superior. Here, pop up the, Chris, pop up the regular cover. It's like purple and yellow. This is the original cover. This is just so much more fun to me. Like, this gives sunset, this gives romance, and I just don't like the shade of yellow. Like, this shade of yellow is so good. And the other one's like a butter yellow. Anywho, I also think that this is really cute on the spine. We've got like birds eating like candies and like some popcorn and stuff, because you know better than the movies. But this is book 2 in the Better Than the Movie series. The first book was about our couple, Liz and Wes, and how they fell for each other. And then I believe this is them in college. I actually have not read the synopsis, but let's go for it. For a few beautiful months, Wes had his dream girl, the strong-willed girl next door, Liz. But right as the two were about to set off for college to start their freshman year together, tragedy struck. Wes was left dealing with the fallout, which ultimately meant losing Liz in the process. Flash forward months later, and Liz and Wes find themselves in college, together. In a healthier place now, Wes knows he broke Liz's heart when he ended things, but he is determined to make her fall back in love with him. Wes knows Liz better than anyone, and he has a foolproof plan to win her back with rom-com-worthy grand gestures she loves. Only Liz will have none of it. Wes has to scheme like a rom-com hero to figure out how to see her. Even worse, Liz has a new friend, a guy friend. Still, Wes won't give up, adapting his clever plans and going hard to get Liz's attention and win back her affection. But after his best efforts get him nowhere, Wes is left wondering if their relationship is over for good. This is quite long. It's like 400 pages. But I have heard that this one, I think we get both Wes. Yeah, we get Wes and Liz's POV, I believe. Or is the whole book just told from Wes? It can be, yeah. Wes and Liz's point of view, which is very exciting. And I have heard that this book has made people not really like Liz. So I'm a little bit nervy about that. But I had a video just go live, so I'm going to go post about that on socials. And then I'm going to read a little bit of this. I probably will only get like maybe 30 pages in by the time I get everything done that I need to get done. But it's 30 more pages than I have done right now. I do hope to finish this between like today and tomorrow. I do have a hair appointment tomorrow, as you can see, and I'll be there for probably like 2 hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I should be able to get a good chunk of this read because there will be no distractions. So let's get into Nothing Like the Movies. Okay guys, I'm not very far in this. I think I've read 3 chapters. So yeah, I've literally read 28 pages. Like I said, I thought I would get like 30 pages in it this morning. It's really cringing me out right now. There has been so many like corny like pop culture references. We have referenced Instagram about 1 billion times. We have referenced Taylor Swift. We have referenced Harry Styles. We have referenced Gilmore Girls. We have referenced, this last chapter had like a lot of references. Maybe I didn't. Did I finish chapter 3? Or am I still in the middle of chapter 3? I don't remember. No. I've read 2 chapters. Okay, even less. That's my bad. Oh, Victorious, the TV show. Like, just so many pop culture references, and it's getting a little cringy. But, I mean, like, I'm gonna read the book. I don't remember if Better Than the Movies was like this as well. I read the Better Than the Movies, like, the first half of last year. And, maybe I wasn't as cringed out. But right now, it's cringing me out. But apparently I need to get going because I've only read 2 chapters of this. But I had to update you guys on that info. But I'm also so tired. The last 2 nights I've literally slept like 5 hours or less. And I'm very much so an 8 hours of sleep girl. So I don't know how much reading I'm going to get done. But I'll try to do some. No promises. Okay, friends, I read a bunch of this while I got my hair done today. It's not looking, it was styled, but I've just been laying in bed. This is like the most okay book I've ever read. Like, it's giving 3. It is one of the most like 3 energy books I've read in a while. My last books have been, it was a 4-star, 2 5-stars, and then another 4-star. So to be reading something that's like very much so a 3-star is not the best. We're about halfway through. We're in chapter 22, which is 47%. I'm over 200 pages into it. And the fact that I still have like 200 pages to go feels wild. But yeah, basically in this book, Liz and Wes, you know this from the synopsis, are no longer together, and it's about what happened and why they're not together. And it just feels like this book did not need to be written, is honestly just where I'm at. I am unfortunately on team. I guess I don't feel like we needed it. And that's just that, unfortunately. But, will we continue on? Okay, guys, we did it. We finished these books. We finished a series. We got 1 more to go in this series. We got halfway through this series, and I'm feeling good about it. One of my like reading goals this year, if you haven't seen like my new reading goals, is to continue the series that I'm in the middle of and stop starting a bunch of new series. Just keep going down the path we're going. So let's go over everything. First, we read Things We Hide from the Light. I feel like I've read so many. Technically, I read 2 books that weren't for this, and I read this book first. So I've read 4 books since I've read this. So this feels like 6 years ago, but this was book 2 in the Knock 'Em Out series by Lucy Score. And this one, it has a lot of the stuff that happened in the first book ending go into this book, so I don't want to talk about it too much, but I did give it 4 stars and I really liked it. Then we read book 2 of The Naturals, and I have now started a Criminal Minds rewatch due to this book. And in this book we have our characters from the first book. We dive deeper into their stories and follow another case. And again, I don't want to spoil anything. And then this was 4 stars. Loved it. Can't wait to continue on with All In. The synopsis of that one looks and sounds so good. One thing I do hate though is that like the novella 12 is only like on the Kindle. You can't like buy the physical, which makes me sad. And then we finished Nothing Like the Movies, which is the one I need to talk to you guys about. Okay. So I checked in with you guys about halfway through, and then I finished the book last night. And like, have you ever read a book where your entire thought process throughout the whole book is, it's fine? That's how I feel about this book. It is fine. If you've read Better Than the Movies, this one is about Liz and Wes still, and they break up for some reason and then get back together. But like, for me, this feels like a book that did, like, it feels like you can tell it was never, like, the original book wasn't supposed to have a sequel. And you can feel that in this book. It feels pointless. There's about 6 gajillion Taylor Swift references, which is kind of funny. It just, like, it felt pointless. Like, Liz and Wes already had their happily ever after, so conjuring up some sort of breakup for them to then get back together and have another happily ever after just seems like pointless. And that's like overall my thoughts on this book, is that it just felt pointless. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it enough, but like, I don't recommend it. And that is that. This is me telling you, if you are in the middle of a bunch of series, after you finish this video, go pick up the next book in at least one of them, because you may be really, really surprised or really excited to just be able to say that it's done. And that is everything for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.